Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden. We're going to head up towards Stockholm once again and we're going to have a look at another beer from one of the best known Swedish craft breweries, and this is one that I think will be pretty good actually. I was feeling that I hadn't done a dedicated review to these guys in quite a little while, and when I was doing my order on Glassbanken.se, this is one that just piqued my interest. So for this review then we are going to go to Stockholm, as I said, and we're having a look at another beer from Omnipollo. This one is the Anima. It comes in at 8% ABV. It's a double dry hopped, double New England IPA, and it's single hopped with Citra. So this one I think will be pretty damn good. If you're going to do a single hopped IPA, it has to be pretty damn good, I have to say. So hopefully this turns out to be a nice beer, but it did have very good ratings on Untappd. I think it was a 4.12 it had when I took a little quick look earlier on. So hopefully this is a good beer, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one as well. As I say, a few months I think since I did a dedicated review to Omnipollo, so overdue I think to return to this brewery, I have to say. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. As always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Omnipollo before. No doubt there will be some more added to that in the near future. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Omnipollo then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you before, Omnipollo was founded back in 2011 by Henrik Fente, a long-time homebrewer, and Carl Grandin, who is a clothing designer. So the two met one day and they decided to start a brewery together after discussing the insular craft beer scene in Sweden and further abroad. But they wanted to reinvigorate the craft beer scene both from a stylistic sense and from a gastronomic sense, and so they said that they felt the partnership between the homebrewer and the clothing designer was actually quite logical. The name is derived from omnipotent chicken, so Omnipollo, pollo Spanish for chicken, and these guys were gypsy brewers until 2020. So they also opened up the Omnipollo's hat in Stockholm early on. I think that maybe opened around 2013 or 2014, but this was opened as a collaboration with Pizza Hut and it's become quite popular. You can get many of their beers on tap, and also some pretty damn good pizza as well. In 2019 they also opened up another bar in Hamburg and then another one in Gothenburg as well, and I think the one in Tokyo that they were working on has now just opened as well. But in March of 2020 they announced that they were going to open up their own brewery at Sundbyberg in a former church which had previously been home to Sundbyberg's Köksbryggeri, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and apparently the current brewing capacity there is around 100,000 litres of beer per year, and this is apparently going to be scaled up to 600,000 litres of beer per year very soon. But as of May 2020, when I'm producing this review for you, they've made around 310 different beers, not 610. So yeah, these guys are a very prolific brewery. These guys of course are famous for their big kind of cakey imperial stouts that they've done. Their straight up beers always tend to be pretty damn good as well actually. They do a lot of flavour essence, adding flavour essences and things into gozas and stuff like this. You know, some of their beers are just absolutely ridiculous sounding, but a lot of it is done with flavour essence from what I understand. But their straight up beers like this one seem to be pretty good. They had the Lucy Hellas that they did with, was that Stigbergets collaboration? That was a very nice beer as well actually. So these guys are a very capable brewery when it comes to the kind of straight edge brewing, but they also do some very interesting experimentations with the flavour essence and stuff like this as well. So I would say to you, try both sides of the coin. Try their pure beers and try their you know, their big kind of cakey things like you know, the what's it called, the Noah and all of these, or Aeon I think it's called now. You know, try these kind of beers from them. But a very good brewery in my experience, and one that I definitely recommend you check out if you get the chance. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Omnipollo for the moment. I do need to go and check out their bar in Gothenburg and the brewery now in in Stockholm. I think they do actually have a bar at the brewery as well, if I remember right. But of course there's Omnipollo's hat, so I'd love to do a little out and about video filming for you there. That would be pretty awesome again. But yeah, we'll need to check that out the next time I make it up to Stockholm. But yeah, if you want to learn more about this brewery, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date on all the latest goings on, and of course you can check out the Rate Beer and Untappd pages to learn more about all the different beers that they've done. So yeah, let's see how we get on with this one then. Very curious about this. As you can see, this is a bit freaky, this artwork. It's like an eyeball kind of popping out. That's one of the few things that kind of freaks me out actually. I don't like shit going near my eyes. It's a bit odd. But yeah, you know, that's it. Nice artwork this one, as you're always going to get from Omnipollo. But yeah, there you can see. There is the Anima, the name of this one, plain black bottle cap. I'm wondering if from the bottle in this one, this has been brewed by, I wonder if this has been brewed at Dugas Brewery in Gothenburg, just because of the shape of the bottle. The Dugas beers are always released in these bottles actually, so I'm wondering if it's there. But the weird thing is, it actually has a German import sticker on it, so not sure about that. But like I said, this one came from Glasbanken.se, so maybe they've sourced it from Germany. I don't know if Omnipollo are brewing some of their beers down in Hamburg. I know that when they did their Imperial stouts, quite a few of them were brewed at Dugas Brewery, quite a few of them were brewed at Buxton over in England, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were brewing, I know some of them were brewed at Lokriste Hefte, the Proefbrouwerij, near Ghent in Belgium. I don't know if they were brewing some in Germany, but like I say, wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, let's get this guy out then and we'll get on with the tasting. The Anima, an 8% double dry hopped, double New England IPA with single Citra hop. So yeah, hopefully this is going to be a very, very nice beer. So let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Very curious to see what this has in store for us. This I think will be very nice. Got it all. So yeah, as I said, this one came from Glasbanken.se. Don't really know what I paid for this one. You are paying Danish prices when you buy beers on there. That's the way that they get around the law basically, is the beers go across into Denmark and then they get brought back on the PostNord truck over the bridge and then delivered to wherever you happen to be. But yeah, this one is kind of just exactly what you would expect. The head on that, I'm surprised that there isn't a bit of head on this, but you can see this one looks very much like a kind of mango, pineapple-y juice sort of thing. More of a mango juice. Don't think it's quite light enough to be pineapple juice, to be honest with you, but definitely leaning towards that nice kind of yellowy end of the spectrum. You could see there was about a quarter finger of a light kind of frothy white head on this one that's faded away just to be not even a very thin foamy layer. There's pretty much nothing there. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but you can see a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, it does look pretty much as you would expect from a New England IPA. If I put my fingers behind the glass, there you can see the this one looks very, very nice, I have to say. So yeah, I really, really like how this one goes together actually. It's very, very nicely done. Pretty much, as I say though, what you would expect, but I think this one is going to be a bit of a beast. We'll just need to see. So yeah, let's have a little look at this one and see how we get on with the aroma then. Yeah, unmistakably Citra. Yeah, absolutely. So straight away with this one, you get those lovely juicy mango-y notes. There is a bit of that slightly stronger passion fruity kind of thing coming out of this one. Sometimes you'll get that with Citra, depending on, you know, what malts and things and what other hops, of course, that it's mixed with. But yeah, the aroma of this beer is pretty damn ridiculous, to be honest with you. It really does have a bit of a darker kind of passion fruity note to it. I would actually, to be honest with you, I would guess if I was smelling this one blind, I would probably have guessed that this was had a bit of galaxy in it, because the passion fruit actually does have a good bit of pungency to it. I don't know if it's only, it says double dry hop, single double dry hopped Citra Imperial IPA. Does that mean that it's only been hopped? Does that mean it's only been dry hopped with Citra, or does that mean that it's only Citra throughout the whole thing, as Citra being the bittering and late addition hop as well? I'm not sure about that, because there is something, I think, you know, Citra can give you a little bit of that kind of grapefruity, passion fruity kind of note, but it's quite strong, I have to say. I wouldn't have expected that from a single hopped beer right enough. But yeah, definitely a little bit of that darker grapefruity, passion fruity thing rearing its head. Some nice Juicy mangoes as well. You do get a little bit of the kind of lighter papayas, apricots, these kind of things, but I do get a good bit of the kind of lychee, gooseberry type thing out of this one as well. But I would say there's also a little bit of lime. It does have a wee bit of a citrusy kind of zest to it as well, so you've got all these different little components that come out from Citra. This is a hop, of course, that I'm really familiar with, and it's just interesting that when you have this hop on its own, it can give you all these different things. So, you know, the Citra really is a little bit of a kind of it's a little, can you call it like a little bit of a poltergeist or a jack of all trades or something? It's really got some very nice different characteristics to it. Actually, I like how this whole beer goes together. I think it's very nicely done. So the aroma, this is beautiful, I have to say. On the green side of things, it's definitely quite a floral, spicy note that comes out of this. Definitely some of that kind of citrusy, zesty note in there as well. Wee touch of earthiness, I would say. Not too much in the way of grassiness. I think it's mainly the green side of the hops definitely leans towards the floral end of the spectrum. But I really like how this whole thing goes together. I think it's very nicely done. So big thumbs up to Omnipollo for the aroma here. On the malty side of things, definitely some oaty creaminess in there. You can pick up some of the more kind of pungent wheaty qualities as well. But yeah, it's got the two things that you'd expect. Oaty creaminess, definitely a bit of a stronger bitey wheat to it, and you can smell a wee bit of a kind of white bready sort of thing as well. So there's nothing really surprising about this beer, to be honest with you, but the aroma, I have to say, is very nice. The thing you have to watch with double dry hopped beers, in my opinion, is that you don't drink them too early. I think these usually need at least 2 weeks in the bottle, in the can, so that the green drops a little bit. But I think you could say that, to be honest, for every New England IPA, but especially more so with the double dry hop ones. I think they need just a little bit of time just to kind of mellow out a little bit, to be honest with you. That's not really a problem that I ever found with the West Coast IPAs, but something that I have noticed with the New Englands. It's just a little bit more pronounced, I think. But yeah, an interesting beer, this one, by going by the aroma, so hopefully it lives up to that in the taste. Let's look at it then. This one is the Anima, an 8% double dry hops, double New England IPA with Citra from Omnipollo, no longer a gypsy brewery, based in Stockholm here in Sweden. Let's get stuck in. Sláinte, skål. That's pretty good. That is pretty damn good, I have to say. You know, as I said, you know, when Omnipollo do try their hand at some of these, you know, straight up beers, they always turn out very nice. So the one that always comes to mind is the In Between the Lines. I think that was a collaboration. Was it a coffee stout, or was it just a regular Imperial stout? It was an Imperial stout that they did with Trillium back in the day, and it was lovely, that, actually. I mean, that's one of the, I think that might have been the first pure beer, if you like, apart from Nebuchadnezzar. It was the first pure dark beer that I had from them. I mean, Nebuchadnezzar is was really good, and you know, some of the New England IPAs that I've had from these guys recently, the have been really good, actually, as well. You know, try some of these other Omnipollo beers that are out there. They're doing some really good stuff just now. Yeah, this one, it's just absolutely solid. I mean, you know, it's maybe not the most complex of New England double IPAs that you're going to get, but it's one of these ones that's just really damn well crafted, and you can't ask for much more. If you're doing a single hop Citra, double New England, double dry hopped, whatever, you can't really ask for anything more than what this actually has. So yeah. It gets a big thumbs up from me, this one. I really like this. You could sit and easily smash a few of these in the bar if you wanted to. So yeah, let's try and break down the flavour of this one. And I think I'm getting this one just in very good shape as well, actually. It's not, the dry hopping's just obviously oiled out to be really quite nice just now. So straight away with this one, you can feel the kind of pale malty notes blanket in the middle of your palate. I think the wheat is quite prominent in this one. So if you go to the kind of middle of your tongue and then move back, you can feel that kind of strong bitiness from the wheat. In the centre of your palate there is like a wee teeny bit of a kind of biscuity caramelly type thing to it, so you do get a wee bit of that, but then as you move further forward on the kind of front of towards that, the front of that middle third of your tongue, it's got a wee bit of a, it's definitely got a wee bit of a kind of oaty creaminess to it as well, so I like how that goes together. Yeah, I really like what this one. I really like what this one has in store for us. It's just solid. It really is. You can't really say much more than that. It is. I find this one to be quite wheaty leaning. So if you like the Trillium IPAs from America, this is going to be a good one. The Treehouse ones, of course, are the more oaty, kind of creamy ones, but this is definitely a more wheaty leaning IPA. But I think the double dry hopping and the kind of dustiness that you get actually gives a bit of that impression, because the more you go into the aftertaste, you will feel a little bit of that dustiness from the beer. It does definitely give you a little bit more of that kind of spicy floral quality actually, but the malt base is pretty straight up actually. Back corners of the palate, there is a wee touch of earthiness to this one, but then as I say, the further forward you come along the sides of the palate, it's got some really nice kind of big floral aromatic notes coming out of it. It's almost just a little touch spicy, and then round the front curve of the palate it's a little bit lighter and more grassy in my mind. I think that it's quite interesting that how the floral spicy notes just really stick to the sides of the palate and give you a bit more bitterness, but around the front edge of the tongue it really is a little bit lighter and grassy as well. So yeah, I like how this goes together. Yeah, this is pretty damn solid, I have to say. I like it. It's lovely. Keep saying that, but yeah, as I always say, behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters will push their way out of the beer. So if you go to the back of that front third of your tongue, you do get these darker grapefruity notes. I think it's definitely a grapefruit rather than a passion fruit. It really is quite dark and almost sour, but not tart of course, it's just a bit of a darker sour flavour. As you kind of come further forward from that, you've got some nice mango-y notes coming out of the beer. You do definitely get that. You get a little bit of an apricot-y papaya type thing as well, you know, some of these lighter tropical fruits, and they kind of spread forward towards the kind of front edge of the tongue, and then almost just right on the edge you do get a little bit of a gooseberry-ish lychee type thing pushing its way out of this out of the beer as well. So I mean, this one I think is really, it's got everything you'd expect from the Citra hop actually, and you do, the further you progress into the aftertaste, you definitely get a little bit more of a kind of dusty kind of thing coming out of this one as well. Yeah, I like how this I do like how this goes together. It's just you know, I've said this a few times in this review. I don't think this is one of my better reviews, to be honest, but this one just is absolutely solid. I think, you know, you've got everything you'd want from a Citra IPA. It just goes to show you how solid this hop is on its own. The rating that it had on Untappd, the 4.12, I can see why it's got that, because it's a lovely beer, this one. And you know, it's quite a brave thing to do almost, especially when you've got a reputation like this brewery, but I mean, if they're going to do something like that, they have to do it right, so it's not surprising that they've pulled it off. So yeah, this thing's obviously been blasted. I'm surprised it's only double dry hopped. It feels a little bit like it might have been like triple or quadruple dry hopped almost. I remember the Even More Cowbell from Amundsen. You know, that thing was just, that was a Lervig Amundsen collaboration that was just blasted with hops. I wouldn't be surprised if the grams per litre of this is pretty high, maybe 40 grams per litre dry hopping something. I would not be surprised with that, because it is, you know, the floral spicy notes you get on the side of this into the aftertaste are pretty strong actually. So I find this one to be a little bit high on its bitterness and things, but it's good. You can't really go wrong with IBUs in my mind. But yeah, the flavour of this beer really is very nice. On the fruity side of things, some of that darker grapefruits linger in there. You do get some of the more lighter tropical notes coming out, and you can feel a little bit of the gooseberry lychee type thing pushing its head out of the beer as well. So I do like how this whole thing goes together actually. So yeah, the way that this one kind of all just mixes together is really very, very nice actually. So it gets a big thumbs up from me, this beer, I have to say. In terms of the mouthfeel, you know, it's at the top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. Carbonation is quite smooth. You know, it does feel very smooth, but at the same time you get some of that dustiness out of it, a little bit oily as well. In terms of IBUs, I think we're talking at least 50. With this one I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit around 60, to be honest with you. There is a little bit of a kind of bitter kick to this one, which is nice. We do seem to be getting a little bit more bitterness in our beers these days, which is always good. So yeah, we've got that out of it, and then the malt base, like I say, is pretty straight up. A little bit of lighter notes in the middle of the palate, thicker kind of bitey, wheaty notes towards the back of the tongue, some oaty creaminess behind the fruity part of the palate, and then the fruity side of things is quite juicy. It's not the oiliest one that I've come across, but again, it is quite smooth and quite juicy. Yeah. Definitely kind of smooth and juicy, not the most oily, like I said. But overall, this is a really, it's a really solid beer. This one, it's kind of what you'd expect from a double dry hopped, double New England. I think it's absolutely solid. So yeah, I like this one. Thumbs up to Omnipollo once again. Not surprising that they've pulled this one off quite so well. I do wonder if this is one of the last ones we'll see that's been brewed at Dewsbury. It could have been brewed at their own brewery, right enough as well. I'm not sure if they're bottling or canning in that new brewery yet, but as I say, there's going to be quite a few changes to it from what I understand, so we'll need to see how everything goes with that. But I do hope I can get up to visit that at some point, and you will see an out and about video at Omnipollo's hat at some point soon as well. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one is the Anima. Double dry hopped, double New England IPA, single hop with Citra from Omnipollo in Stockholm up in Sweden. A really just very, very solid beer. Nothing unsurprising nothing surprising, to be honest I should say, nothing surprising about this one, but just really solidly done, and it deserves its rating that it has on Untappd in my opinion. So yeah, go and have a go at this one and see what you think. Let me know where you find this beer as well. I'll be interested to know exactly where this one has been released, because I found this one on Glassbank and Punkt.se. But yeah, thank you again for watching my beer reviews. As always, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Omnipollo as well, and you will definitely see more from these guys at some point in the near future. Thank you again for watching. Check out the Anima and Omnipollo, and I will catch you guys soon. Slàinte, skål, cheers.